Good morning. We're very excited this morning to welcome Minal Sampat to our studios here in Tampa. We're especially excited because she's very unique in this space, in the dental marketing space. She is a Guinness World Record holder, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. And it's the first time I'm interviewing a Guinness World Record holder, so it's an honor. She has been in every publication that you can imagine, on Dental Town with Howard, to Gary Plekis, to Huffington Post, and she's going to be displayed. I guess she's going to be profiled on a magazine cover as one of the dental entrepreneurs, and she's a millennial, which is great. All of us want to know more about them, so we're excited to have her in our studios because I have followed her personally for a while on social media, and I'm always amazed at how much engagement she really drives to her posts, and not because the posts are nice to look at, but it's the combination of things, right? How do you drive anybody to like what you're doing? There's a combination of factors that go into it, right? It's not just about a picture, it's not just about content, it has to be everything. All of those factors have to be. So it's really nice to meet someone who thinks of marketing as a strategy and not as a product. I talk a lot about, this productizing business where we create products to sell and to mass produce, saying, oh, we have a package here that's going to cost you this much per month, and this is what you get, and then we have gold, silvers, platinum, all that stuff. At the end of the day, any of these things have to work, have to get you new patients and the right kind of patients, and it has to continue. It's not a one-time deal where I'm going to put up a website and it's going to work forever. It's a continuous process. Marketing has evolved also over a period of time. What digital marketing was 10 years ago, it's not the same today, and it will probably change as you go along. So having somebody on your side like Minal helps, because her focus is not on a product, it's on a strategy. So with that in mind, I really want to start asking her on how did she start. She's been in this business for about 10 years. How did you start in dentistry?
Sure. Well, first, hello to everybody who's listening. Hi, and watching. Hello. It's so fascinating to me, the whole dentistry field itself. I started 10 years ago. And my story is interesting because I was born in India. I was raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. Thomas. And I decided to go to Rutgers University in New Jersey. Don't ask me why. I know I left beautiful beaches to come to snow, but I did it. And at Rutgers, I was studying biology and communication. So that's what I studied. And I was also in the pre-dental club because I didn't know if I wanted to be a dentist or I didn't know if I wanted to open a business. So I studied both. And as a part of being in the pre-dental club, we had to shadow a dentist. So, this was a very long time ago in my world. And I put up my whole profile together and my resume, and I sent it out to everybody. I faxed it, I emailed it. And this one practice in New Jersey, which is a pediatric orthodontic practice, who has over 25,000 patients, chose for me to come and shadow them. Now, as I mentioned to you, I was out of state. And, I grew up in a family where you work very hard. So I was already working a couple of jobs in college. I didn't have a car. I was told you can't have a car until you can pay for a car. That's right. So I took, local transportation to this place, which was pretty far, about 40 minutes from my school, took cabs, whatever I can to get there. And we just had this really good connection. I had a really good connection with the team there, with the doctors there, the owners there. And they said, Minal, as soon as you finish college, give us a call. No matter if you decide to do dentistry or not, just give us a call. And 2008 came around and I graduated and I gave them a call. So when I gave them a call, here's the funny part though, they wouldn't reply back to me. So eventually I got a hold of the doctor and she's like, why are you not here? You graduated. And I'm like, I don't know. I keep sending you all my information. Well, the next thing I know, the office manager calls me up and she tells me on the phone, we have no positions. We are not hiring. We don't have an open position. Now, again, this is a very big practice. So they already have about 40 people working there, right?
Sure.
So they said, why don't you come around at this time? So I figured I'm just going to go have lunch with the doctors.
Sure.
I walk in. The next thing I know, I'm being interviewed. And they offer me a position. But they tell me there is no space for you. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to have you try everything. And we'll just see what you enjoy and where you fit in. Wow. So I did everything from welcome decks, checking in people out, to checkout, to insurance, to billing, to scheduling, to lab, to a dental assisting, and marketing. And this is how the story started. Now, being such a big practice and being so busy, you know, they already have so many things playing around. They're already doing so many things. Right. But the factor that wasn't available was that they were not showing off how incredible they were. They were not tracking results. They were not realizing where their patients are coming from. But because of how long they had been there, they were seeing new patients. And as a millennial, this is 2008, so Facebook was 2004. So this was still a new process, having a business page on Facebook and creating engagement online and social media and everything. Sure. So I took over their marketing, and I started to streamline their marketing, and I started to organize their marketing. And the best part was I started to get the team involved. I started to build a practice culture, a team culture in the practice, and the results were amazing. And that's how I started into dentistry. And that practice is still today one of my biggest clients, one of my biggest supporters. I consult for them, and they have full-time marketing employees in their practice who market there with me to grow their practice. And they're growing every single day.
And that's a fascinating story because you started in marketing almost by accident, I guess. You figured out that you're good at communication. You went into this practice, you kind of saw all the roles, but you felt marketing was your biggest strength. And then when you started seeing results from that, then you kind of said, oh my God, this might be my calling. Mm-hmm. But you're also a hygienist.
I am.
Aren't you?
I am a hygienist.
So when did you graduate from hygiene school?
So 2011. So when I was doing marketing for the specific practice, I still understood that I wanted to be involved in the clinical part of stuff. I wanted to be involved in clinically. I just didn't know if I wanted to be a dentist. Okay. So I went to dental hygiene school, but funnily enough, what this allowed me to do was open up my communications to the patients directly. While I have a patient in my chair for 45 minutes, I am able to communicate so much and understand so much about them. And that is priceless. Right. You know, that is information that you can directly get. And going back to the point with, marketing is also that because I grew up in a sales culture, in a marketing culture, and I can go about that a little bit later, I was always told to find out what makes you special. And if you don't know what makes you special, you don't know what to market. And that's the beginning of everything. And that's the foundation of marketing to the people. You know how they say your vibe attracts your tribe? It's very true. Right. You and I connected because of the same kind of thinking that we have. Absolutely. And the knowledge that we have. So in that same way, you have to connect to the right people on the right platform with the right message. And putting that sauce together, the secret sauce, is what really helps all that engagement happen.
This is such an important sentence you just said. You have to put the right people on the right platform so that
the right message
with the right messaging. Because the marketing world, as you know very well, and I've been in the space for a while, it's filled with noise. And what I mean by noise is all you hear when you go to trade shows, all you hear when you meet people, dentists, when you talk about marketing, it really starts a whole list of jargons, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I need SEO, right? I need a mobile optimized site. Okay, of course, that's a given. That's not even an option anymore, right? I need a mobile responsive site. And then I need SEM, search engine marketing. I need and it's all about
social media. I need
social
this,
media.
I need that. I need content.
Instagram.
It's constant information out there.
And it's all about because we're bombarded with all this stuff. Oh, I can't believe you don't have Instagram for your practice.
I know.
Okay. So a lot of dental practices and dentists, when they go out there, there's a lot of information out there. Mm-hmm. It's almost an overload. Mm-hmm. And we live in that age anyway.
Absolutely.
We live in an information overload age. And so how do you and plus those terms are evolving, right? SEO is evolving with Google's changes over the years, and the tendency for most human beings is, okay, they have a problem they don't really completely understand, so let's do this. Let's buy a solution that looks good, as in appears good to look at, from the booth or the people that you're talking to, and it's all driven by the gut, like, oh, I think this is good because I don't understand enough about this.
Right.
These people certainly know what they're talking about because obviously, look at all these words. I don't know any of these words. And then we end up. If I am a dentist, I'm roaming around at the ADA, and I see a beautiful booth with amazing people with great personalities, welcoming smiles, great giveaways, and beautiful looking websites. I think I have solved it. This is it. I have got all my patients. This is gonna fix it all. And then you sign up for whatever package you sign up. You pay the thing, and then what happens afterwards is you don't really see the results, right? You don't see the results, but you don't even have time to monitor them because you're not measuring anything. And then we can talk about measurement afterwards.
Sure.
But I think the first question about marketing in 2017 and beyond, we're almost done with 17, is how do you make sense of all the products that are out there in the marketing universe? There's websites dime a dozen. There is guys who will do social media for you from foreign countries and post for you.
Sure.
SEO, search engine marketing, Facebook ad. There's all sorts of jargon out there. So how do you make sense of this? Like, what does it mean, and what do you need to think about really importantly before you even decide to buy a product that you think is a product?
Sure.
And is marketing a product in the first place or not? You would disagree with me. I don't think it is, but
right.
So how do you make sense of? Is there a place where you can go read about all this? But there's no place because you'll find 10,000 results.
It's it's like you mentioned. It's how do you first go back, because there is constant noise, and I know that as a millennial because I have my two screens open with my email. I have LinkedIn on one side. I'm Facebook messaging somebody else. I'm texting somebody else. I'm calling somebody else at the same time.
Right.
And we live in this world where we have constant information. I almost feel that we all have ADD, because if you tell me to slow down for 1 minute and just focus on one thing, it becomes harder for us.
Right.
And that's the environment that we are in right now. But I'll tell you a little story, and I'll tell you where we need to start to eliminate the noise and figure out what's working. But before I do that, everybody who's watching this, take your right hand, and you're going to say, I will not buy all the products. I will make sure that the noise around me doesn't get to me. And I will make sure that I do my research, I understand what I'm trying to sell, and then I will purchase, and then I will invest. Okay, all good.
All right.
So now let's talk about it.
Done deal.
Done deal. So as I mentioned, I grew up in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, okay? Now, if any of you have been to the Virgin Islands, which I'm sure many of you have, it's America's paradise, there are a couple of things the Virgin Islands, specifically St. Thomas, where I grew up, is known for. There is the rum, there is the beaches,
wonderful,
and then there's the jewelry. And I'm sure all of you are thinking, yes, there's so much jewelry there. Yes, there is. There is one street, it's called Main Street. And on Main Street, there is literally hundreds of jewelry stores. So close your eyes for a second and imagine that you are sharing your dental practice with your competition on one road. Everybody on that road is a dentist. Everybody.
That'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy. Well, this is jewelry, and every single of those stores share their right wall, their left wall, front and back with a competition. And they all make money. In fact, jewelry is one of the biggest ways of income in St. Thomas. And they all make money. In fact, my family not only makes money, is growing with this. And they all have similar products. As dentists, you provide similar services. You have similar clinical procedures that you provide, implants and crowns and recare systems and everything else, right? They have the same stuff. So how do they survive? How does all those stores survive? They don't, they can all go get a website. They can all go and spend money on SEO. They can all go spend money on Facebook. They can all go be on LinkedIn all day. They can do any of that. But how do they surprise? If you go to my parents' store in St. Thomas, or if you look them up online, you will realize that hardly anything, any of those reviews, and they are reviewed everywhere, on TripAdvisor, Facebook, Google, everywhere, right? They don't really mention the product. When people come to your dental practice, they don't mention, my crown was amazing. What do they mention? They mention how you treated them. They mention why they chose to come to you. They mention how they felt when they were interacting with you. So with my parents, let's go into a little bit deeper. My parents, the way they work is that they know their customers. In fact, their customers, same as a dental practice, most of them buy because They are already their customers. Your current patients are your number one source of referrals. Never forget that. Yeah. Feed the system that is working. Your new patients will come from your current patients. In that same way, my parents grow because they have a list of their customers who keep buying from them, right? So my dad, he has a list of all the customers. He knows when their anniversaries are. He knows when their birthdays are. He knows what drinks they like to drink when they come to St. Thomas, because you can drink on the streets in St. Thomas, right?
Wow.
He has everything ready. In fact, as soon as he gets an email or finds out this person is coming in, there's a cab waiting for them to bring them to the store. As soon as they arrive, there's a drink ready for them. He knows exactly what jewelry they bought, what matching set they're going to buy next. Every anniversary and birthday gets a special gift and a special prize for them.
Beautiful.
That's marketing.
That is marketing.
That is marketing. But let's think about it. Let's reverse engineer this. Is he spending all that money on a website? Is he paying for reviews? Reviews are free online.
Right.
Correct? How is he making money? He is making sure that his current marketing system, his sales force, his current patients, his current customers talk about him online. He gives them the platform to review them,
sure.
And he makes sure that they're continuously happy. So how do you go about removing the noise? It's very simple. What is it that makes you special? My dad's marketing is the bar next door, because they bring all the drinks to my dad, and he knows what drinks to make. What is the marketing system for my dad? The cab company who picks up all these people and brings them to the store and makes sure that they're all happy and always smiling and talking about my parents' store. What else does he do? Does he have a website? Absolutely. What does he do with the website? He sends it to their current customers and he tells them, share it with your friends and family. Go ahead and do this. He cuts off the noise. So there is the first thing in cutting off the noise is understanding why people come to you. For my parents is their amazing customer service. And I know all of you are saying, oh, we all have great customer service in the practice. But do you really? Have you ever thought about it from a patient point of view and understood what they're seeing? Have you read your reviews? And do you actually know what the reviews are talking about you? Because that's important. So once you know why you are special, then you figure out a channel as to how these people are hearing about you. If they're hearing about you online and via Google, go ahead and spend on online and Google. If they're hearing about you as social media, sure, streamline it. If they're hearing about you on LinkedIn, leverage it. Figure out what channels are working for you. Everybody's out there to sell. That's how the world works. You have to be the smart one. You have to know how your patients are coming to you and how you're going to utilize the correct channels in the correct way to get more of them coming in. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does in a way. It's absolutely amazing to hear this because all of us, as human beings, we really want an easy solution to a complex problem. And we think we can buy ourselves out of a problem. I need more new patients. Let me buy Facebook advertising. Let's do that thing, right? Instead of digging deeper, because it's harder, right? Intuitively, all of us, right? No matter what business you're in, right. I want to choose the easier option. I want to press that easy button where it says, okay, I'm going to start spending $500 a month on Google AdWords. Apparently, my buddy over there in Minnesota, he's spending that much money and he's getting tons of patients. So I'm going to do the same results.
Right.
And you keep on getting advice from people in your inner circle.
Right.
And they feed. And sometimes the advice is good, but sometimes it really doesn't apply to you. If you're sitting in Milwaukee versus you're sitting in Tampa, there's different types of patients, there are different ages, different demographics.
Absolutely.
But you really have to start at the core, as you mentioned absolutely correctly, is understand your existing customers first.
Yeah.
Make sure they're extremely happy with your services.
And then use those demographics. Because like I mentioned, once you have that list and say, Manal already came to talk to Amol today. Why did Manal chose to do this? Manal is this, and this, and this. And this is why she chose to do it. Look at your current patient database. You have information on them. Which town are they coming from? What age group are they? What are they interacting with? Because if you know who your customers are, you know what channels they're going to be hanging out on. And then you create the message that connects with them. The message that connects with a 65-year-old is not the same that's going to connect with a 32-year-old. So create a messaging system that works for each age group. Create a system that connects with them. You want to try and get seniors? You are somebody who really thrives on doing dentures? Go to the senior home. Take that newspaper ad out. You want to get a 32-year-old in your chair? make sure you're online, and make sure you're not online with a boring message. Please don't put up a boring message. Content is king, and that is always going to be true. You want a message, do a fun boomerang. Put it out there, and guess what? They're already going to be looking at you because you do that. I'm sure you know about singing dentist, many of you, right? So in that same way, this is a guy who comes online and sings, makes up his own songs to famous songs, right? And he is insanely famous, and he's gone viral. So reverse engineering is important. Knowing your current patients gives you the data for your new patients, and then use the messaging and the right platform.
I'll have a little story about reverse engineering. So what happened is in 2008, when there was a crash in the United States, and especially Florida was hit really big from the real estate crisis. And I run an accounting practice as well, in addition to all my other ventures. And we had almost 30% of our clients that were in real estate, and they were going to go out of business, right? And so we were really worried that losing a top line, 30% of your top line means you're making no money, right? Assuming you keep all the staff.
Right.
So our goal was, we're going to keep our amazing staff intact. We're not going to get rid of anybody, but we have to find a new way of getting patients. So at that time, I kind of went on a journey worldwide to find how can I attract the right type of clients into my practice. After a worldwide journey, I realized that I really have to understand what my customer pain points are, right? What are they looking for in a CPA?
Yes.
Right? And so I had a background in statistics. So what we did is we looked at Google's AdWords platform, and we sprayed it with thousands of keywords initially that were related to my office. And eventually we cut the sample size down to a meaningful number where we now knew what people all over the country were looking for with respect to what I was offering.
Right.
At the time, some of the things that we're all looking for is foreclosures, right?
Right.
They needed help with that. People needed help with cancellation of debt income.
Right.
They needed help with that. So then what we said, we're going to say, we know these many people are looking for this stuff. So why don't we create content that answers that question for them?
Absolutely.
And so we hired, instead of hiring SEO experts, we hired journalists, right? Ex-journalists that actually wrote all the content on our website that addressed all the pain points that my customers potentially could. And we started getting phone calls. We started getting phone calls from all over the country.
Yes.
I didn't even know what SEO was about at the time.
Right.
I just wanted to solve a problem.
Right.
And it again goes back to the same thing, is you have to really test out what works. You have to keep trying and designing experiments that many will fail, but some will succeed. And then once they succeed, then you can allocate more resource to them.
Absolutely.
Instead of just like, let me buy this big package. It's a platinum package, and it has I'm going to spend $400 on Facebook, $400 on AdWords. I'm going to spend $400 on SEO, and again, it frustrates me when I hear charismatic speakers out there that will just wow an audience and say, and then people are signing up right there. And if you sign up today, then you get a 20% discount. These tactics are gone. They are so gone. Should be. This is the era of empowerment. This is the information era.
Well, it's the same thing when you look at it for a dentist who's doing all these promotions online and doing Groupon and Living Social. If you're doing something like that, you know the crowd you're going to attract. They're one-time shoppers looking for a deal. When I go to a Groupon, when I want to go to a spa and just get my nails done, I go to one of those places and then I never go back because I don't find value in it except, all right, this is cheap enough for me to go ahead and do this, right? But the important part is, if that is you, then that's you. If you are a practice that is based on quantity and you are like a mill and you're making money like that and you want to continue, go ahead and do it. If you're a practice who's saying, I don't want to do that and I want to bring in value patients because that's what makes me money, then focus on that. So knowing that difference between the two is important because not everything is meant for everybody. I can go online or I can do a virtual consult or I can speak in front of 500 people when I did this year. And guess what? My messaging is very specific to what I'm offering. And not everybody in that audience is going to say, that Manal, okay, I get what she's saying. I think I'm going to sign up with that. Right. In that same way, the patients understand that for you. The patients completely know what you're trying to sell them. Some of them are not going to like that you're offering something in Invisalign for $500 because what?
Right.
So it's important to know that, right? And to know that audience. And that's what frustrates me too, is especially now in the millennial world that we live. I am a millennial. And I will tell you that the decisions that I make, where I invest my money, are much more than just a business with a promotion or an ad. Where I spend my money, I have a conscience. I want to be supporting a business because I believe that they are the right business, because I believe that they are doing something more than just being a business. And because of that thinking, because of the way that I do my business, is how I started and launched my company by breaking a world record. And that was the whole reason. It wasn't a 28-year-old going out and having a party for for launching her business. It was to give back to the community. It was to make sure that there are ways for me to let people know that I am more than just a marketing business.
So let me ask you that about the world record.
Sure.
Because it's fascinating where you, as a 28-year-old, launch your business by creating a world record.
Yeah.
I mean, what an amazing way to launch your business. I mean, the notoriety you get from being in the Guinness Book, and you should think about that, because you know how many, what you did. I really want to hear the story about this world record, because what you did can be replicated.
Absolutely.
On a daily basis in every community in the country. And I don't think every dental practice could potentially do something like that. Maybe not on the world record level, but enough to get excitement going about the practice. So let's talk about the world record, when you started.
With any campaign you want to do, small or big, I mean, you need to have a reason beyond the business. If you focus only on your business, your results are not going to be phenomenal, because guess what? You're looking at the money. Guess what? You're looking at saying, how am I going to get richer? What is in it for me? Forget that. Forget that sense of business. Forget that sense of marketing. Think about it. How is somebody else going to be better with this? How can I help them? How can I answer a question for them? It's all about your patients. It's not about you. It's never been about you. It's about the patients. So in that same way, when I wanted to launch my company and I was 28-year-old female, doing this big splash, I said, how do we do this? And I am a dental hygienist. October is Dental Hygiene Awareness Month. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I am a woman as well, and we have a higher risk of breast cancer. So I decided, why don't we put it all together? I want to make the community be involved. I want to give back to scientific research. I want to make sure that our name is out there, but our name is out there in a way where people understand that we are here for you, for the community. And it just so happens that somebody who was working with me at that time, her grandmother was struggling with breast cancer as well. Okay. And when we came up with it, we said, how do we get her story out there? How do we make sure that people understand this? So we joined forces with a local high school. We went to the local high school and we said, hey, listen, we want to break the world record. You guys in? Of course they are in. Right. Here are high school kids, super excited. The principal is super excited. And they're like, let's totally do this. So we chose a game in October and we called it a Pink Out game. And our name of our entire campaign is Swish Away Breast Cancer. In fact, you can even Google it today and you will get all the Swish Away Breast Cancer, because I'll tell you what it was. Swish Away Breast Cancer was a world record for the amount of people swishing mouthwash at the same time. Oh. Very simple concept. So we wanted to gather a crowd of people who was going to swish mouthwash at the same time.
In their mouth.
In their mouth. Okay. So how do we get a big enough crowd to do this? A high school football game, make the entire school super excited. We did pink t-shirts, we did pink sweatshirts, we did ribbons, and we did bracelets, and we did all this marketing materials. We had high school kids tweeting about the event. We had teachers tweeting about it. We had the principal writing about it. And we included the high school. So what this did was we had local newspapers, we had TV2, we had Yahoo Sports do an article on us, because we were involving a local high school. And here's this company saying, we're going to do all this for you. We want you to wear pink out. I mean, we had football players in pink, we had cheerleaders in pink, we had pom-poms, and we had over almost 2,000 people. We had over 1,500 who participated in this, and we had 2,000 people in the stadium locally the energy was insane, Amal. I mean, when you walk into that and you feel the energy out there with all these kids and super excited about it, and we did it. And you know what? We had a mouthwash that was brought in, Listerine Zero, and we, at halftime, had over 1,500 people who went in and swished mouthwash with us. Swish away breast cancer, again, dental hygiene, swishing. Breast cancer, the pink out. We connected everything together, and we made a huge splash. In fact, the splash was as big that our company was also mentioned in Dentistry IQ for making a world record. And that's a brand new company coming out, a young company who was able to do that. And the way this worked, now let's go to the strategy. The way this worked is, what did we do? We found a concept that was already big. Breast cancer awareness is huge. It's a huge month. I wanted to include the dental part of it because I am a dental hygienist and I work in the dental field. So I brought in the swish away breast cancer because I wanted to have something that was easily done. Then we said, how do we get a crowd involved? Not only how do we get a crowd involved, what kind of crowd is going to make this happen for us? A high school, because guess what? The kids are tweeting. The kids are on Facebook. The teachers are on Facebook. We wanted to give back to the community. So we had the community. Then we said, how do we make a big brand awareness? We pink it out. We get sweatshirts and t-shirts and everything else we got, right? And then how do we give back, you ask? Everything we got, we donated to Susan G. Komen. It was all went back. So instead of having a party at a lounge or doing a launch party, we made something bigger and we gave it away. That is the millennial generation. The millennial generation is looking for companies who go beyond providing a service, who go beyond having a business and making money. Give back, be bigger, and that's how you really attract the valuable new patients in your practice.
This is so fascinating. I mean, I've never heard a story where a business was launched like this. It's beautiful. It ties into why we started doing this, what we're doing today.
Right.
Because over the years in my business, I saw that, dentists are amazing individuals, amazing professionals. They go out there, they love to learn. They'll take all these courses, they'll do all this stuff. And they truly, and now they're in this age where now they have to think about marketing to a new group of people.
Right.
They have to think about hiring a new group of people.
Right.
And there's lectures now being given all over the country about how do you deal with millennials and how do you market to them? How do you not market to them as patients, but also as your staff members, because that's what's going to be as your staff, right? As your team members. And it's really, really important to understand the psyche of it instead of dismissing.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of dismissive talk that you see across generations. So like, we don't know, they're not interested in this, because a lot of times, and I tell this, I've been preaching this mantra for a long time, is that, and this goes back to Maslow, how he talked about what do employees really want, right? And it really, and compensation is at the really bottom of the pyramid. Purpose and meaning is always at the top. And more so today in the millennial generation, they are looking to work at a place which gives them the opportunity to advance, which gives them some mentorship, which gives them recognition on a daily basis. They want their hands to be held. They want, because they have grown up in an era where whether we like it or not, they were given opportunities that their previous generation didn't have. So they really want somebody, employers, for example, to be their mentors and provide them way more than, obviously you need to pay your employees well. That's a given, right? But that doesn't guarantee great results. If they can get excited about something and they can get excited about the cause, about being in dentistry, about being in changing people's lives, about making a difference well beyond the work. And when they're proud of their employer, that, man, my employer did this for this cause.
Absolutely.
Then they're so motivated to be their best, right? And that's what it's all about, right? It's marketing is great, wonderful. You need marketing, but we also need happy employees. We need them to perform at their peak. And we have to really understand how to manage this generation by changing the way we do business today.
Well, look at, to point that out, look at the successful companies we have there. We have Google, we have Netflix, just to name the two and to go into it, we have Nordstrom, all these places. And these are successful companies.
Right.
And if anybody listening to this, if you ever have a chance, Google them. Figure out how they handle their team members is very different. Right. Groupon, all of these companies, even with Netflix, they don't have the traditional employee kind of structure. They understand the millennial generation, just how that's how you have to understand a new patient, right? So I'm a millennial. My husband's a physician. And even though he's a physician and I have my marketing company, we both love to travel. We both love a lifestyle of being able to roam the world and have different experiences, right? So we work with companies and we work with clients that are supportive of that. And if they're supportive of that, they get a lot more from me. Because guess what? Even if I am in Portugal doing my work, you're still going to get the work done. It's just that I'm doing a different time zone. They understand how this generation works. So when you look at successful companies, you have to understand that people who you hire, first of all, have to be excited about working with you. If they are not excited about working with you, they should not be working with you. And you need to give them a reason to be excited about working with you. Don't be that dental practice where they walk in and you are the boss and there is no communication systems going back and forth with them, because your team members are the face of your brand. They are the ones who answer the calls. They are the ones who check the patients out. As a hygienist, I get 45 minutes at least with a patient.
Right.
I can talk whatever I want in those 45 minutes. Give me a reason to talk good about you. It's that simple. Because if you are able to give me a reason to talk good about you, then you are going to have me as a sales force for you. So having that structure in place and having that system where your employees, which I hate calling them employees and I hate the word staff.
Right.
Another right hand, wow again, we are all going to call all of our staff members team members. You are a team. You are a part of a team. It's all team members. And going back to, something else you said there where, holding our hands as a generation to provide information, it's so true. Listen, I can have anything I want by Googling it. I can literally Google anything I want and I will get answers about it, okay? Right. That's the generation I grew up in. And we yet still go online and look at cat videos. Right. I mean, that is the ironic part about living in today's world, is that we can have any knowledge we want, but we still go online and look at people dressed in tutus jumping around, or, the singing dentist, or somebody who is laughing so hard that we started laughing. Why do we do that? Is it entertaining? Sure. But it's also because the knowledge is so much of it out there. So that's our break away from the knowledge. That's us finding a reason to smile. So with the millennial generation, yes, they're looking, and I can't talk about the entire generation. I'm not doing that. I'm just giving you my perspective on it, is that figuring it out a way to empower them, not to talk down to them, not to teach them, but empower them. When you empower somebody, they actually want to do it on their own.
Correct.
They want to help grow your practice. That's what I was given. In my story, when I started, I was a college kid and they just liked my personality and they liked who I was and how I worked. And they said, we're just going to give you an option to figure out where you fit in. They empowered me to make a decision. And out of that empowerment, look where I am today. Out of them empowerment, look how much they have grown because of everything that they have done. So empowering them is the number one thing to do. The second thing you need to do is you still have to train them. You need resources. Right. You need tools. I didn't wake up one morning and said, I am great at marketing. Right. This is a lot of time of doing this thing. There's a lot of roadblocks, and you will all have roadblocks, and we all have good days and bad days.
Sure.
But having a way to control that noise, understanding what tools to use for myself, understanding the resources, and having an incredible team makes life easier for everybody. So when you go to a conference and you go to a workshop and you're super excited because you learned so much, and this happens to me all the time. I will have people come up to me after I speak, this was so great and I'm totally going to go do this. And they put away that folder on a folder pile that's this high of all the ideas and nothing is implemented. because you are too busy being a dentist, which you should be. If you went to dental school and you love seeing your patients,
Sure.
be a dentist.
Sure.
But understand that that work still has to be done. You need a doer in your practice. You need somebody who's going to implement those ideas. Those ideas need to become a reality. Especially with breast cancer, my world-breaking record happened because I have an incredible team who took over it. So if you don't have people who are doing what needs to be done, you are not going to grow, no matter how many workshops you go to, no matter how many webinars you do, no matter how many podcasts you listen to. So focus on understanding that delegation is key to success. Accountability helps you manage what's actually going on. And the last thing is you have to be a leader. If you're the guy who's walking in 10 minutes late every day, how can you expect your team to respect you?
Right.
How can you expect your patients to respect you? Lead with an example. That's very true. And I know that this is such a cliche statement, but I have seen it so many times where people don't lead. And they just hope that their team members are just going to take over. And that is not a successful model to work off of.
So let's go back to just a little bit behind.
Sure.
Just take a few steps back. And so the way you deal with, let's say you have a new dentist who calls you and wants to engage you to, let's say, help me with marketing. I need new patients.
Right.
And most of the time that's the
Yeah.
I need more new patients. Or sometimes they'll say, oh, I need a new website.
Yeah.
That's even worse because if the right thing should be I need more new patients. I
Right.
need the right type of patients. But I need a new website most of them. Oh, I don't have Facebook. I need Facebook.
Right.
So I have guys that can be, oh, we need Instagram. I need Instagram. And it's again that mentality, right? So walk me through the process. And you have these 3 plans on your website.
I do,
at GMM,
yes.
which is plant the seed plan, water the plant, and watch it grow. So I think it tells me that you customize your marketing consultation and coaching to where the
Practice,
need,
yeah.
where the practice is currently. And so what are those things? So what's the first
Sure.
thing you do?
Well, usually when I get a client, first of all, we are not cookie cutter. I don't believe in cookie cutter businesses. And so the first thing I do is I get a call from a client. And again, I worked with practices with one business owners to multi-practices, and they're all over the United States.
Sure.
So the first thing they'll tell is, Manal, what do I need to do? Well, what I do is I look them up as a potential new patient. I figure out where they are standing in their marketing right now, where they help me with a very quick questionnaire.
Sure.
I take all that information and then I give them an idea of where they stand, the strategies, not just a philosophy, but strategies on what they need to do to grow. And then I break it down into a to-do list. Because like we just mentioned, without delegation and without accountability, nothing gets done. So then I break it down into a to-do list. And that's how we actually do the consult. And after that, we decide, and there are some practices who have team members who are super excited and want to run with it. And I said, amazing, you guys got this, go ahead, run with it. There are some practices who will tell me, you know what, Manal, I really don't have anybody who understands social media.
Sure.
Can you help me out with that? And then I can stay on a retainer basis if you need to. But it's not cookie cutter at all. And the 3 plans, plant the seed is when you have a practice who really wants their team to understand today's world, wants them to understand how to bring that foundation of figuring out what makes you special and how to market. So that's planting the seed. Watering the plant is all about, okay, so we have planted the seed. You understand you have to get this done. How do we go about it?
How do we go about it? Okay.
And then the last plan is when it's a full service plan where you need me to do everything, but I need to make sure that you have a team in place and you are going to go ahead and invest in the technology and the services that you need. You can't come to me and tell me, Manal, I need new patient phone calls. If you want to do that, you need to first make sure your team is trained to answer new patient phone calls. You need to understand how they are actually replying to those new patient phone calls. Understand that you may have to invest in a system or a company that's going to help you get that results.
That's correct.
You know what I mean? So to give a little shout out to them all here.
That's right.
So I work with those teams to make sure. So all my clients, they actually get strategies, and then they also get help from me in figuring out how they're going to invest in the companies and if the companies are actually bringing them value as well. So I am a strategist.
Sure.
Right? I am a consultant. right? And there are things that I do for you because if you want me to handle them, I will handle them. But I believe that people are really good at doing what they do. And the world is full of genius peoples and platforms. So why not delegate it out to the people who love what they do? If you have somebody who's really good at making sure those new patient phone calls convert into a new patient, why not work with them?
Absolutely.
You know?
But what if they say, okay, I just want to plant the seed, then I'll figure it out. So that's fine with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you will identify all the deficiencies
absolutely.
that they currently have and tell them and give them a roadmap,
absolutely.
And then they can run with it.
Absolutely.
But most of the time, and then...
I would say that 98% of my consults don't end up like that. Because
right.
they always...
Well, I'm just trying to find out how your plants work.
Right.
Watering the plant means you basically are... doing all the techniques based on what your analysis was and doing them
and I'm telling them what to do, and I create to-do lists and I create with the team and I say this is what the team's going to do, this is how we're going to get it done. This
is so unique because traditionally how dentists buy marketing services is they will go to a marketing company,
right,
who will tell them we'll get
do everything for you,
great website for you. We'll do, some of them will say, oh, we'll even do postcards with you. And it's all on them, right?
Yeah.
And nothing is on you.
Right.
So it's turnkey operation. All you do is sign up for this big package and we'll do everything for you.
And how many of those companies actually
and again,
results?
But here's very interesting. What you do is you get the team involved
yes.
in the marketing aspect. So you are...
I also provide workshops.
Provide workshops. So so you basically are going to train the team to be marketers, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody in the team needs to be a marketer because at the end of the day, yes, let's assume the company that you hired was great at SEO,
right,
and they got a lot of phone calls. But then obviously at Patient Prism, we keep on harping on that. If you can't convert more than 30% of your new patient phone calls,
then?
Why are you spending the money? Right?
Exactly.
But when they come in, and we can't have the top of the funnel leakage,
right,
which happens. But we have leakage all over the place.
Right.
In the entire funnel, we see patients fall down
right,
from that. If you see that the entire patient journey from the website to the phone call to the entrance to the appointment to all that stuff, right? There's leakages because the leakage happens because the team is not taught on how to market the practice.
Absolutely.
And I think what you do is absolutely key is teaching, and I love the word that you use is patient-centric marketing.
Absolutely.
Is every team member is equally enabled in their role to act and empowered in their role to be the stewards of the practice, right? Everybody. And once you empower them, especially if they're millennials, they're like, man, I am in charge of this. Like,
absolutely.
I'm in charge of the new patient experience. I'm in charge
exactly.
of showing them the practice. I'm in charge as a hygienist. I'm in charge of many things. Convincing the patient that this is the treatment they need to get done. I'm in charge of the proper handoffs, all that stuff. So this patient-centric marketing, I love it because you can't solve your marketing problem by buying a package.
My dad can't solve getting customers in the place by giving it to a company and saying, bring me customers.
You can't.
You can't. In that same way, and the empowerment is so important because, my dad growing up, he always told me that you're only stupid until you ask that question. If you don't know something, ask, research. And your team many times feel like they can't help you because they don't know how to help you. Many times I'll get a doctor calling me and say, Manal, I have these people working in my practice. They're over 50 plus, but I want to get them on social media and I'm having trouble. And I'll go in and spend 2 hours with them and I'll teach them the tools and I explain to them, especially because the growing population on social media, 65 and above, is insane.
Wow.
So these people are already on there, but they feel scared because they feel that I don't have the tools and the resources to actually do a good job on it. So they don't want to embarrass themselves. Again, understand the problem that your team's having and provide the answer. You have to be the answer. And if you can provide that answer, they want to actually help you. They want to help you grow. Why wouldn't they? If you grow, they grow.
An analogy that I am using in my own at Patient Prism, as we go out there and try to educate the dental practices. One of the things we went through this exercise 6 months ago is identifying each buyer persona that we have.
Absolutely.
Right? Who is my buyer? Now there is this a solo dentist is one of my buyer personas. There is the entrepreneur dentist who wants to grow and expand. There is the DSO guys that are my, and then there is other people that are, and like people like you are my personas, right? You are so you are an influencer in the space, and so I have to attract you as well in terms of what I'm doing. So I have to really look at my patient base as a dentist, right?
Yep.
How many millennial patients do I have? And there's all this available. It's available. The list is available.
The data is there.
Data is there, and then this is hard work. What I'm trying to say is this is hard work.
It's
not
so
a
much
package,
hard work.
right?
It's not a package. And you know what? And there are companies out there who sell packages. And hey, listen, all good. We are not here to.
And not at all.
But again, it depends on what you're trying to sell. It depends on who you are. And I'll tell you a little bit story about me. So my personality, right? My wow factor, funnily enough, is that I have a very casual, fun personality. It's also that I grew up in the Virgin Islands. And many times,
laid back.
Not even laid back. People are fascinated that I grew up in St. Thomas. Maybe our listeners today are like, oh, she grew up in St. Thomas. And I've had times where dentists, will call me and be like, aren't you the speaker from the Virgin Islands? They won't know my name. They won't know my company's name, but they know I'm the speaker from the Virgin Islands. They know that sometimes they'll be like, it's the speaker who had like super fun personality. And I'm not just tooting my own horn. I'm just giving an example. If I know that wow factor, because every time I speak, every time I do these things, I always ask for feedback. Everybody writes a review sheet for me. They always give me feedback. And I grow from that. So I take all of that information and I put it up online. So if you go to my website, you're going to see pictures of Virgin Islands. You're going to see my fun personality. You're going to see the answers to the questions you're looking for. If you look at my workshop page, it's actually going to be a page telling you this workshop is right for you if it's not, these are the requirements if you're going to come to my workshop. If you don't match them, don't come. This is what you need to do. So you provide a detailed, and in that same way, you have to provide a detailed amount of information to your patients and understand that not everybody is going to come to you. Understand that not everybody is meant to be your patient. And that's okay. Maybe people don't like my fun, casual personality. Maybe they want a more formal person. And that's okay.
Right.
And there are people out for you out there.
So displaying what your personality is.
Display what's already working for you.
Right.
Why are you not going to do that? If somebody comes and tells you, Amal, I love the way you write, why aren't you writing more of it then? Do you know what I mean? If you know the wow factor, show it off.
Yeah, I had a dentist, not in the recently, who loved dogs.
Yeah.
And then he used to just post pictures on Facebook with his dogs. And he had a therapy dog in the clinic as well. But it was fascinating because, again, if that's your passion, a lot of people love dogs.
Right.
People who like them are going to be attracted to you, right?
Exactly.
Like you said, people with the personalities you have, like that are attracted to you, people's buying decisions are not based on what you're selling.
No.
Right?
No.
People's buying decision about what they feel when they see you, right? The feeling is, man, I trust this person. Man, I have some connection with this person.
And there's this guy, his name is Jay Danzy. He's a philosopher.
Sure.
And he said this quote, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And the quote said, your smile is your name.
Right.
Your business card is your personality. And how you make others feel after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. And that's absolutely true. You shop at Starbucks or you shop on Amazon or you shop at Dunkin' Donuts. Where you shop is not just because of the product.
Right.
Because of the experience, because of how you feel.
I mean, this is all, right? We buy Apple phones because what they make us feel.
I mean, yeah, not because it's $1,000.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what it costs. But I want to get back to the fact that, I mean, there's some great companies out there that make great websites.
Absolutely.
That provide great social media services with all advertising. There's great companies, and I don't have anything against
not.
any of the packages that are there, because people need packages. Not everybody is going to have that. But I guess the point of the conversation that we're trying to drive home is that, yes, it's a good idea, but there has to be some strategy behind that, right? So when you hire these people to do your website, you need a strategy. Okay, what are we going to do? What kind of content is going to come in here? So buy packages by all means. I'm not dogging any package because you need something, right? You you need to have a site, you need to have a presence.
Sure.
But when you have that, you really need to dig deeper and work hard to understand your messaging, to get your team on board, and to measure the results of all the stuff, right? Because measurement doesn't happen most of the time. People say to me all the time, like, what is it that has succeeded? Why have you launched all these businesses that have succeeded over the course of the years? And I tell them, one of my key things is I measure a lot. I measure my failures a lot more than I measure my successes.
Yeah.
Because the moment you can figure that out, the moment we can figure out where you're failing, you can quickly fix it. Nobody wants to fail.
Right.
Nobody does.
Right.
People want to fix them, but if they don't even know they're failing, there's no point.
Or recognize that.
And that's what one of the things we talk about at Patient Prism is that we allow front office conversions is a big area where, as you've seen in your
absolutely.
is that patients are calling, they're falling off, and the communication at the front. Again, they've had nobody come into the office and train their team members on how to be a patient-centric practice. Like you said, you have to train every team member, including the front office, which is one of the most important, because if you can't get that patient booked, everything is useless, right?
Absolutely.
You got to get, and one thing we implemented in our platform was allow these dentists to be able to understand their failures pretty fast. So within an hour, if you know, oh my God, a patient called, we messed up. Now we are going to give you a second chance to make that impression again and say, we're going to fix this problem for you. The measurement, that's what I've told all the lectures I've given over the years, is you have to measure. And you have to have, because if you can, like Peter Drucker said, if you can measure it, you can manage it, you can improve it. You must measure everything.
Absolutely.
And that's where it begins. I think, so do you provide those tools as well as for measurement? How do you determine your marketing succeeded? Is it one metric as you got more new patients?
Well, so one metric is obviously you got more new patients, but there are different ways you have to actually do something, right? You have to see how your team is actually working with you. You have to see how they're engaging with you. You have to see that. And like I mentioned, you invest in companies for specific statistics.
Sure.
And once you have all that together, so the way you want to really go about any strategy is first figuring out what makes you special, then figuring out what kind of patients, your current patients, are attracted to it.
Sure.
Then understanding who your new patients are, their age group, specific demographics. You want to create a patient avatar, a perfect new patient avatar. Write every single thing out about them and say, okay, this is my new patient avatar. Where should my avatar actually be? And then choose the right platform to avoid the noise. And then the messaging that's going to actually engage and convert with that new patient avatar. And then let's and then have your team on board and ready that when the new patient avatar calls, they convert, and bada bing, you have a new patient, and you have a really great patient-centric marketing.
Fascinating talk. This in what you said in those 4 sentences really sums up why this is important, why this is becoming more and more important to understand this. I'm totally fascinated by it.
Thank you.
And we're really looking forward to all the videos that you do today. Because guess what's coming up after this is Manal is going to record these super charged videos, 1 to 2 minutes long, that we normally do, that are going to give you answers to like 10 problems that you can solve immediately, just like that. And that is where I think we're going to start. She's also going to record a webinar that's going to teach you some specific techniques on how you can improve your practice and how to streamline your marketing, how to attract the right people to your practice. I think one of the things I'm requesting her to do in one of our talks later on is a lot of the dental support organizations, the dental entrepreneurs, as they are growing their footprint, they're having issues with hiring the right people and training them. So maybe some ways on what can you do to attract the millennials who are going to just give it their very best, right? We need that kind of help.
Absolutely.
So truly excited about this. It is so enlightening to speak to somebody in your age group, and I mean that in the most nicest way, and learn from you. What is it that we're missing in marketing today? Right. And all the stuff that you have said, it's not. I mean, it's not something that we don't know already, but we don't do it because it's hard.
Right.
Marketing is difficult. I think that the moral of this conversation today is you can build the practice of your dreams. You can attract the right type of patients. You can have an incredibly motivated team. You can deliver a Starbucks, Disney, Apple type of experience to you, but you have to work hard for it.
Absolutely.
You have to engage every team member in marketing. Marketing is not where you buy a package and you forget about it. You have to hold the people that are doing marketing for you accountable for what you're doing. And she says that some of the things I wrote down earlier with your thing is accountability is key, right? You have to have everybody accountable. Training is key. You have to keep continuously training. One of the reasons why we launched Constant Coach, and we're building this training library for staff members, and you're going to be part of the library today. I'm really happy about it because we want staff, and I'm sorry, no staff.
No.
I raise my hands. We want team members, right? We want team members to continuously, and we call it Constant Coach. And one of the studies done over the last few years, like the new generation wants to be coached constantly. Right?
Absolutely.
And they don't want to sit at a seminar for 8 hours, take notes, and forget about it. They want instant training. They want instant gratification. When we type that search into Google, we get instant
reliable
answers.
information right there.
So if I have, for example, messed up on the phone by offering prices too early during the conversation, I want to know right away that I messed up, and I want to get training on how not to do it next time. That is the essence of what Patient Prism does, and it ties into so much of what you say, because we built Patient Prism platform as a marketing centric platform. So we did marketing for a long while because we were good at it. We were good at the messaging, right? And we stopped doing that because we found out that this is a problem that we can tackle. And I'm fascinated because again, we're only tackling one part of the problem. There's many other problems that are happening.
And so specific strategies for all of them. But like you said, the overall goal is none of this is easy.
None of this is easy.
But with the right mindset, with the right kind of training tools, resources, and the right personality, and that motivation to drive more and to be more, it's really the key of making sure that you're always achieving more. If you wake up in the morning and you said, I'm going to get this done today, and you get that done, that's amazing. And that's it, one step at a time, one goal at a time, and you're going to be there.
Perfect. We don't need to say anything more. That's good.
Good.
Thank you. This is great.